Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar number 9. My name is Brittany and I'll be taking you through this Twitter recruiting workshop, or as I also like to call it, how to win followers and influence candidates. So we're also going to have our TalentBin mascots helping us out here today. That is Rex on the left and JD on the right, and they've actually dressed up for the occasion in their little Twitter bird costumes. Halloween's coming up after all, so we thought it was fitting. All right, a little bit about our agenda today. I'm going to start with a background about what is Twitter in case you're unfamiliar with it and you're a new user. Also, why use Twitter for recruiting? We'll go over that a little bit, as well as how to optimize your Twitter presence before you start doing some recruiting. Also, we'll go over how to use Twitter with TalentBin. So I'll show you how to integrate your Twitter account with TalentBin, as well as give you some best practices about how and when to tweet candidates through TalentBin. And then we'll also have a little demonstration about how to actually go about tweeting at a candidate using TalentBin. And finally, we're going to wrap up with a few testimonials and open it up for questions. All right, so what is Twitter? So you probably know Twitter is one of the most powerful and popular social networks out there. It's built on the exchange of 140 character messages, which means it may seem short, doesn't seem like a lot, but it can actually be pretty powerful. So a few facts about Twitter. There are 316 million monthly active users, and that's just people who are active during that month. There's actually a lot more people who have signed up and have Twitter accounts and may not be active. Also, it's available globally in 35 different languages, so in case you recruit outside of North America or you recruit outside of English, you can go ahead and use Twitter for your recruiting efforts as well. The whole idea behind Twitter is to allow individuals to connect, as well as connect to companies, institutions, public figures, and also allow those companies, institutions, and public figures to connect with individuals. And it can be accessed online at twitter.com, and also on a smartphone. There is an app for Twitter. And also via SMS, which is actually how it started. Twitter was the first to introduce hashtags, which we're seeing everywhere now, as well as the concept of trending topics in social media. So why use Twitter for recruiting? Of course, we could start with that stat of 316 million active users. That is a huge potential audience. Also, Twitter's very public, so it's seen as a little less intrusive. When someone signs up for Twitter, they understand that they're going to be seen, that they can be found and contacted as well. Also, users probably have the app on their phone, so you have an opportunity to get in front of a candidate's eyes in a place where they may not necessarily expect to be recruited and maybe get a little bit more of their attention. Also on that note, only 14% of recruiters use it, so there's less competition. You have the opportunity to make some noise in an area where some of your competitors are not yet. And finally, most importantly, IT candidates use it. They're out there tweeting about technologies, conferences they're going to, funny viral videos, other interests of theirs as well. So you can see here at the bottom we have an example of some developers and other people in the IT space who are active Twitter users. So all these folks have Twitter accounts and they're calling themselves developers in their bios as well. And actually they are all people who have TalentBin profiles as well. So you'd be able to get even more information about their skills and experience. So let's take a closer look at how exactly developers and people in the IT space look on Twitter. So these are both examples of profiles. They're real fleshed out. These are both active Twitter users, and we can see from a few things I've highlighted in their bios that they're also either developer or programmer working in the IT space. So people you could see as potential candidates. We can also see, based on some of the keywords that are in their tweets here, that they're actually tweeting about the industry as well. So they'd be great people to follow and say maybe retweet something that they've said so your other followers and potential candidates can see that as well. All right, now we could do a quick poll here. I'm just going to ask, in the past 5 years, have the responses to your emails on LinkedIn gone up or down, that response rate? Similarly, the email outreach that you send to candidates in the past 5 years, have those gone up or down? We'll wait here for a few responses to come through. Yeah, but I'm seeing a few already. It's definitely down, and that's not your fault. The tech recruiting market is extremely competitive and has only become more so in the past 5 years. So how do we respond? We have to respond by getting creative. And that can have to do with the type of messaging, that you're doing, make sure that's nice and personalized, but also you can diversify where you're sending the messaging. So in addition to emailing, which is your main contact method, you have other ways to get in front of someone's eyes. Twitter is your best bet. As you may see, that LinkedIn is already a little oversaturated, and reaching out on something like Facebook might be seen as kind of creepy. It's a little bit more private than something like Twitter and personal. Okay, next we'll go over some ways to boost your Twitter presence. So if you're new to Twitter, these are some great things to get started with before you start tweeting and recruiting. And also, if you're already a user, these are some ways to kind of up your Twitter game. So those have to do with having a good profile picture, a good bio, having some followers, making sure you are following some people as well, and also making sure you have some tweets on your profile. So the whole idea behind this is you want to look human and relatable. So the main thing you want to do is make sure that you're using your personal Twitter account, not your company account. And that just, it makes it so it's more of like a one-on-one, person-to-person interaction. So you want to make sure that you have a good profile picture that's a real picture of you. It doesn't have to be just you. It doesn't have to be as professional as, say, something like a LinkedIn picture, but something that kind of gives an idea of who you are, makes you seem more personable. And another thing to keep in mind is avoid the egg. So we see Sharon here on the right-hand side has an egg as her profile picture. That is the default picture that Twitter gives you when you sign up. So it's kind of an indicator that you're not much of a power user. You haven't really got into it yet. Chad here, on the other hand, on the left, he's got a picture. It shows a little bit of personality, and he also has a good bio. So in your bio, you want to mention your profession. You want to be upfront about saying you're a recruiter. But that's not all you have to say. You also want to include some other interests too to make yourself more relatable. So we could see in Chad's profile here, he says he's a senior account manager at Monster, but he also says he's a wannabe aerialist. So we don't know, maybe he actually is aspiring to be an aerialist, but if not, he's actually injected a little bit of humor in there as well, which also helps him look relatable to a candidate. All right. You also want to make sure that you grow your following and your followers. So on Twitter, there's kind of an unspoken rule that when you follow someone, it's an invitation for them to follow you back. It won't always happen, of course, but some people definitely will follow you back, and people who see you have more followers are more likely to follow you as well, so that'll kind of compound on itself. So how do you find people to follow? One great thing you can do is use Twitter's built-in search functionality, and you can find people who look like people you might want to hire. So you can use keywords like job titles like developer, engineer, or also specific technologies that you want to build a pipeline around as well. And these will bring back profiles where people are mentioning that, but they also might bring back some influencers in the field. And what I mean by influencers is individuals, organizations, or even publications that are relevant to the industry and producing tweet content relevant to that industry. Something you could do there is actually follow their followers. So if they're an authority in the field, they're bound to have people they're following and followers of them who are also interested in that field. So that's a great place to find people who look like the potential candidates that you want to have in your feed and potentially have following you back. Also, you can follow the followers, the people you're following. So it's kind of a similar vein, kind of a mouthful there. But basically the idea is if you found someone that looks like a great potential candidate, if you look at the people following them as well as the people that they follow, and you'll be able to see that list in their profile, you're likely to find other similar people. So other people in tech and developers, etc. Also, you can search for people with Twitter accounts in TalentBin. So you can put in your search keywords in TalentBin just like you normally would. And then you can see here in the screenshot in the bottom left, in your search, you could go to available contact, make sure you have Twitter checked, and then your results are going to return people with Twitter profiles. And lastly, you want to follow your friends and colleagues. This is your personal account after all, and it'll make you seem human. Legit profiles are going to attract more followers and get more responses. Okay, you also want to build up your tweets. So I can guarantee you one of the first things that a candidate's going to do after you tweet at them through TalentBin is check out your profile. And you don't want to show them a profile with no activity. You want to make sure you have some tweets in there. So the first thing to keep in mind is that you don't want to protect your tweets. Protecting your tweets is Twitter's word for saying you're hiding your tweets, keeping them private. So someone go to your profile and they just wouldn't see any tweets. So don't do that. It looks kind of shady. Another thing is don't tweet about TalentBin. Remember, these passive candidates did not create the profiles you're seeing in TalentBin, so they probably don't know what it is. So you want to keep that a little more close to the vest there and not let them know about that. Also, this probably goes without saying, avoid controversial topics like politics, religion, or profanity, something that might alienate someone. And also, you want to make sure you have more than just job postings. I know it could be valuable to post job postings on your Twitter profile, get some eyeballs on those, but you want to do more than just that and show some personality as well. So one way you could do that is to tweet your small talk. Even just talking about the weather is okay, like we see JD doing here in the upper right-hand corner. You can also tweet about things you think your followers may be interested in. So potential candidates you might be following, you can tweet about industry articles, tech events, resources, and jokes. You can actually throw in some jokes about recruiters or recruiting in there as well. It's great to show a sense of humor about that. You can also tweet behind the scenes about your company, the company you're recruiting for, so they give an idea of more what it's like to work there. So you could do something like a picture from happy hour or donuts that someone shared for thank God it's Monday. You can also retweet your company's tweets if your company has a Twitter handle and if you think their tweets are good. Also, you can retweet what your people you're following are saying. So if you find something that someone has posted amongst your potential candidates you're following and you think other potential candidates might find that interesting, go ahead and retweet it. All right, next we're going to get into using Twitter and TalentBin. So why should you integrate your Twitter with TalentBin? Similar to a lot of other features we have with TalentBin, it's just going to save you time. So you never have to open Twitter and everything can be done through the TalentBin interface. It also helps you keep track of candidates. And so you can see the profile history, tweet history in your mailbox as well, and we'll see that in a little bit. Also, you can use templates, kind of the same way you do with your email outreach already through TalentBin. So you'll be able to use autofill variables like the person's name, interests, and links as well, so you can get click tracking too. All right, so this page shows how to integrate, the steps for how to integrate your Twitter with TalentBin, but I'm going to go ahead and show you this live as well. So we are going to go into my TalentBin here. And from the dashboard, I'm just going to go up to my settings in the upper right, and then down to account preferences. And then I'm going to go to my CRM settings. And here we can see the email address that I have integrated, but below that we see the option to add Twitter mailbox. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And I'm already logged in to my Twitter here, but if you weren't, you'd see a little place right here where you'd be able to log in and authorize the app. So I'm going to go right ahead and hit that. And then I'll be redirected back to TalentBin, and I can see here with my Twitter handle that it has been integrated. Okay, so you're integrated. Now what? When are you going to use Twitter as part of your outreach strategy? Well, the main thing that you're going to want to do is use it as a supplement to email outreach. Of course, this mainly is going to be for some of your top candidates, the people you want to hear back from the most. And you'll also see not everybody has an active Twitter profile or even has Twitter at all. But basically what you want to do is draw attention to your email outreach. So it's just another way to kind of grab that candidate's attention and direct them back to hopefully answering your email. Also, if a candidate hasn't replied to any of your previous outreach, let's say you sent them an outreach email and they went through your entire automated follow-up campaign and didn't reply, Twitter is another option to try to get their attention. Also, for candidates where you requested their email through our email concierge and you're waiting on the concierge to get back to you with that contact information, you can go ahead and send them a tweet. Then later down the line, when you're able to send them an email, they already have an idea of who you are and pay a little bit more attention to that. And finally, you can use it for pipeline building and networking as well. So even if your tweet doesn't result in a hire or interview process, at least these people now know who you are, be aware of you out there in the space in case more opportunities come up later and you can reach out. Okay, now about tweeting a candidate through TalentBin. So here's your steps. First, you're going to want to make sure they're an active Twitter user. So you'll be able to see if they have a Twitter account by looking at their TalentBin profile and looking for the Twitter icon. So it's a blue one with the Twitter bird in the center. You click out to that, you'll be able to see, do they have a bio? Do they have a profile picture? And also you want to pay attention to when their last tweet was. Was it today, last week, 3 months ago, 3 years ago? You're going to want to save your tweeting efforts for someone who's going to see it. So someone who's been actively tweeting recently. Next, you want to send them an email. So like I said, Twitter shouldn't be your only outreach. What you want to do is tweet at them to gain visibility and draw attention to your email, so then they'll hopefully respond. So third, you want to make sure you have some templates created, and then you can go ahead and start tweeting them. So with regards to templates, you can find them in exactly the same place you would for your email templates in TalentBin. So that's going to be under your settings and under Manage Templates and Campaigns. Most of you will actually still have the generic engineering role tweet. That's something that comes with TalentBin as an example tweet template when you first sign up. So the easiest thing to do would be go ahead and hit the little copy icon on that, and then you could compose your tweet there in the compose screen. You do want to make sure that when you name the template, mention that it's for Twitter or tweet. That way you'll be able to tell the difference between the templates for tweets and the templates you're using for your regular emails as well. That way you'll avoid sending any strange, awkwardly short emails to someone that was actually intended to be a tweet. Okay, so here are some example templates that you can work from. As you can see, you can use the variables just the same way as you would in an email template in TalentBin. So we see that here in the first one. Hey candidate, love awesome folks like you, come work for us. So this would be a great first tweet. You actually don't have to just send one tweet. You can send a few. I wouldn't go more than 5. That's kind of a lot. You don't want to completely bombard them. Might be a little aggressive, but a few nice customized tweets where you can throw in some personalization and throw in your contact information is a good place to start. Also, here's the next one. Hey candidate, loved your tweet about drones. Would love to connect, check your email. Again, you're drawing attention to your email. Or got a great Python role that would be great for you. Check us out. Would love to chat. Email is brittany@talentbin.com and cell is whatever your phone number is. Looking forward to it. Or saw your Java repository on GitHub. Would love to chat. Look for my email, brittany@talentbin.com. So if you want to play with these, kind of create your own, make them personalized to the candidate. Also keep in mind that there is that 140 character limit with tweets. Okay, how do you tweet at a candidate through TalentBin? So this will be on this slide here, but I thought I'd just go ahead and give you a demonstration of it too. So again, we're going to pop out to my TalentBin account. And we're going to go up to manage. I actually saved my own TalentBin profile in here. So we go to that. And we can see that I have a Twitter profile. So if I go over here to contact and click on Twitter, I'll be able to choose a template to work from. And I have one here down at the bottom. And then in this compose screen, I can make any sort of changes I might want. So let's see here. I'll do this, make it a little more personal. Website. And you can also see here that you'll have your character count. So this is where you can make sure that your tweet's going to be under 140 characters and it is actually going to work. All right, let's go ahead and send this. And you can see your sent tweets exactly the same way as you would see your sent email in TalentBin. Go up to the mailbox, go to the sent section, and you'll see these going through here. Oh, it looks like we had an error in that one, but that's practice before. Anyway, this one's pending. It looks like it's going out. And if you could take a look here, you'll see that the icon is different. So your emails are going to be this envelope symbol, but anything that's a tweet in your inbox is going to look like a little Twitter bird here. So if we click on that, we can see what the tweet content was, and we can also see the 2 handles went between. You can go back to the profile if you want as well. So let's take a look at what that tweet would look like coming into the candidate. So I have my account open here. If we go up to notifications, we would see this. We'd see a notification that the tweet has come through. These are a few practice ones that we've seen before, but this is what those notifications are going to look like to the candidate. And they're also going to probably, if they have the Twitter app, they're going to see that on their phone as well. All right. All right, next for some testimonials. So this one's from Vanessa, who actually recruits for Twitter. And she's a TalentBin user who does tweet at candidates through TalentBin. And this is what she had to say about using Twitter for recruiting. In general, Twitter has been the most helpful in showing me what the candidate is like as a person and what they're interested in. So it makes it a lot easier to actually make a connection and build a relationship. So that's actually a great point and kind of leads us into our next testimonial. This is from TJ, who works here at TalentBin and also does some recruiting for TalentBin, and has been known to tweet at candidates as well. If you're familiar with TJ, you know that from his past webinars and some of his articles there on TalentBin University on our support site, that he is an expert in customizing his outreach. So for a few of these, he looked at what the candidate was talking about in recent tweets, something like talking about Grumpy Cat, or a drone that flies over your enemy's house and blasts Justin Bieber music. So those are all great things to reference that you can find in someone's recent tweets, see if there's anything that you can kind of grab and point out there, and then also just throw in an invitation to connect, telling them to check their email, giving maybe a few details about the job. He also has mentioned some information they would have found from their TalentBin profile, like their activity on Stack Overflow, Meetup, LinkedIn as well. So both ways great ways to customize your outreach through Twitter, kind of boost your email outreach. So TJ says, Twitter has been a huge help in my own recruiting efforts. For example, if I'm one of 5 recruiters to email that candidate, but I'm the only one who also sent a tweet, I'll get the first reply. So that's a great thing to remember. A few other things to remember. Twitter outreach is about building a relationship. So it's not necessarily a one and done thing, and you can't really expect instant gratification, though you will get it sometimes. As long as your messages are courteous and customized, people are more likely to follow you and reach out to you in the future. Basically, you're setting yourself up to be the friendly neighborhood recruiter. Also, tweeting shouldn't replace your follow-up. It's just meant to draw attention to your emails. You want to make sure that if you're using automated follow-up campaigns or following up with the candidates directly as well. All right, we'll go ahead and open it up to some questions. I know we've had a few come through already. The first one is about how visible are the tweets? Can their boss see it? So that's a great question. They would really have to be looking for it if they were going to see it. Of course, they would also have to be following the employee. The boss would have to be following the employee. But it's not going to show up in their immediate feed on their homepage or on their profile either. So let me just give you an example here. If we hop into my account and go to my profile, we can see that none of those tweets that we sent showed up. So the most recent one here is from September 8th, so nothing from today. They would actually have to go through and look for the tweets and replies and actually be hunting for it, so they aren't going to see that there. Great question. Okay, another one, should I use links, like linking to the job description? Yes, that'd be a great idea. It'll give the person a little bit more information about the position, which we know that candidates love to learn a little bit more about what the position's all about, beyond just the title. Also, you'll be able to do some link tracking, so keep track of who is showing interest in the position through TalentBin as well. And should you use hashtags? When you're tweeting at someone directly, you do not need to use hashtags unless you want to use it as part of a joke or something. But hashtags are intended for searchability. So there's no need to do that if you're just tweeting at someone. In your regular tweeting, though, just to fill up your daily tweets, your tweet feed, you can use hashtags. And you do want to make sure, however, that you are using hashtags correctly. So if it's something like an acronym, you want to make sure you know what it stands for and how it's used. Twitter also has on the homepage, you'll see on the left, there is a trending topics section, and some of those are going to be hashtags. So any hashtags that are trending and popular that day, you'll be able to see them there and maybe work into one of your tweets as well. Next question, how many tweets should I send? I kind of covered this a little earlier. I would say no more than 5. You gotta maybe kind of find your sweet spot there. Even one can make a difference, but if you send a few, you have the opportunity to throw in a little bit more personalization there. Maybe mention something about their skills, a little bit more about the position, as well as throw in more of your contact information and prompts to check their email as well. Another one that we kind of covered already, should I use my company's Twitter account or my own? I think it's best to use your own, though this person points out that their company already has thousands of followers. I think the most important part is going to be building that personal connection. So the candidate's going to care more about seeing that's an actual person tweeting at them than care about how many followers you have. Of course, you can always just retweet things that your company has been sending out over Twitter and kind of draw attention to it that way as well. And lastly, a question about Twitter cards. So Twitter cards is another Monster product. And if you're interested in it, definitely just contact your Monster rep. What they are is a way to prominently post jobs on Twitter in a way that's both searchable and automated. So that's something that would actually be better used with your company Twitter handle as opposed to your personal Twitter handle. But of course, if your company's sending out Twitter cards, you could always retweet those as well. All right, well, that's it. I want to thank you all for attending. And again, as always, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and reach out to our customer success team, including myself. Also, be sure to check out our past webinars. There's a lot of great stuff on there to help you better recruit and customize your messages and use TalentBin to its fullest potential. All right, thank you everybody and have a fabulous weekend.